everyone, this is Nathan with Citizen Nerd, and today we're going to look at the Chromebook 11 from Dell. If from previous videos you remember that we reviewed both the Acer, which is a nice one to fold the way around, the 11 and the R13 of the same idea. Today we're going to look at Dell's answer to that. Okay everyone, this is the new Dell Chromebook 11, and today we're going to take this thing out of the box and take a good look at it, and then we'll do some comparison. I'll show you around the thing a little bit. See in the box here that we have rather simple layout in the box itself. We have the charger, the Chromebook itself, power cord. Oops. Sorry. And the power cord. So this is the Chromebook. Okay, this is Dell's answer to, apparently anyway, what is their answer to the R11 from Acer. And open this thing up the first time here, give you an idea what it looks like. So this is the first time I fired this thing up. The battery was basically dead, which is not necessarily unusual. And you can see it's a really bright screen. Here's a touch screen. And let me go ahead and set up the network here. So we'll skip ahead through this. The first thing you typically have to do is, of course, you connect this thing to the internet, and then it's going to do updates. So that's normal. That's okay. These can take, depending on your internet connection, can take a few minutes. So I'll go ahead and log into this one real quick. So after you get in, you will start seeing it set up, and you can see my bright shiny picture down here. And I've got to set the time. No, it's actually right. Okay. So, sometimes you have to set the time and time zone. It should do this automatically, but it does. So, it actually says the battery is 65% full, which is really funny because it did not come on until I plugged it in the first time. But, we can go on here real quick. And I don't really care about offers. So, we're on. The nice thing is, that is exactly how long it simply takes to get a Chromebook up and running. It is that quick, and it's that simple. That's to any of them are that way. This one's pretty quick though, I'll give you this one. It is fast and responsive. The touchscreen seems to be rather responsive at this point. It doesn't really have any issues, which is kind of nice. So, yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, so let's go around this thing and show you what we've got here first of all. So let's look at on edge here. So, power connector. This is a standard Dell connector that they've been using for a long time. That is actually a good thing. The standard charger on this thing, just so you know, should be 19 volts. It is 19.5 volts, 3.3 amps. The charging cable off an early Dell laptop from, let's say, 2001, which is not the earliest, of course, will use this same connector. It will actually function. That's nice. I like that. It's a big connector. It's going to save you a lot of headaches. I'll show you why. If you compare that to, let's say, the Acer R11, I'll give you an example. Okay, that's the size. Right? Significant difference. This one's easy enough to break. This one should be solid. Okay. And moving on though, for right now anyway. So, micro SD card. Focus on me. Thank you. Okay. We got micro SD card, HDMI, 2 USB ports, Now, one thing I've noticed on this, which is rather interesting, it hit us at work really quickly. You'll notice these are not blue like you normally see USB 3. They are listed as, however, USB 3. So, and this side. Headphone jack. There we go. Power light rather. Power button. Volume up, down. And a locking mechanism. Now, the hinge design on this, if you look at it, is plastic. However, there is metal under that. We actually see it. Okay, you can just kind of see it shining there a little bit. Okay, that's metal. This appears to be plastic, but it's not too bad. It seems substantial. This, however, that's rubber. This thing is rubberized. So that's kind of nice because rubber all the way on the bottom of this thing. This is all rubber through here. Same thing on the top and the sides and on the back. This is plastic covering metal. Okay, the bottom of this thing is somewhat plastic, but it has kind of rubber feet, rubber bumpers here. And the top of this thing just appears to be regular old plastic. But being rubber coated like that, it should be pretty decent. So that's how its functionality is. Oh, sorry, that's how the kind of the walk around looks. Touchscreen, of course, and this Dell flips all the way around to a tablet. And it, of course, much like the rest of them, does know its orientation. It does actually rotate quite easily. And pretty responsively, too. So let's take a look at this a little bit with just the touchscreen. So let's go ahead and get on here. Go to YouTube. Go. Let's see if we can find a video that's maybe one of mine here. And you notice it's relatively responsive. Now I'm just on my home internet here, so this is only AT&T with 24 megabits. So, but it's reasonably responsive. So let's go to just the Minecraft video here because it's a simple one. It'll let me do it real quick. Okay. And it plays the video just fine. It ran right up. So I'll scoot ahead real quick here and see how quick it loads. Keep in mind, home network and the kids are home, so you know, my internet's a little squeezed right now. But it continues to play just fine. Okay, so I would say its connectivity is actually quite good. Let's flip it back around here. Or I can actually use the mouse a little bit. Let's go to there. Okay, go back to me. My normal me. Okay, and you can see that's actually responsive really quick, and it's popping right up, and a lot of that's the internet connection, which apparently is working pretty well right now. So we'll run a speed test, and keep in mind this is on my home network wirelessly, and the kids are home. But it should give you a general concept idea of what's going on. There we go. But I don't want there. I want Mooresville. So I'll scooch that down a little bit. Thank you. Mooresville's just below there. There we go. I've noticed in Bedford, Mooresville gives you the best results for accuracy and speed. And I'm getting 18, 19. That's pretty good. Gives you an idea. But that actually is running pretty well right now, I'd say. I won't stop this. I don't need to actually sit there and look at it too often. But it is actually quite responsive. Now the functionality behind the operating system I'm not looking at so much because it's all Chrome. So a Acer and a Dell and an HP are all running the same operating system. That's fine. But I just want to look at the responsiveness of this. Okay, so let's bring up a good benchmark test. So we'll bring up Octane 2.0 here, which is the one I've used on the other two Chromebooks. So we'll start Octane. And I want to also reiterate at this point, this is running on my home Wi-Fi. So keep in mind, sometimes that does make things a bit slower. Okay, this one got an Octane score of 8304. Go ahead and see if I can actually put down here the other two scores that I did with the other two Chromebooks. Okay, I'll put some specs up now as to what Dell says this thing should be doing. I do also want to point out again, power connector is the old style connector, but it's easy enough to use, and there's a lot of them out there. I like this one better than I do the small Acer. I'm not sure why Dell didn't go ahead and just do it like the one from the other Acer that we have that uses the USB-C, but they chose to stick with their, well, probably their tried and true unit, honestly. Let's take a look at this one here. This is the Dell Chromebook 11, and we'll do some quick comparisons of what I like about it, what I like about this one, what I like about that one. I'll try to make this quick and simple. Now, keep in mind these are my opinions, so yeah. The Dell physically compared to the equivalent Acer, let me undo the power cords. This is heavier, but not by much. This has metal on the outside, this has plastic, however this is really, really rubberized. I like that. I like the rubber idea. I think that's a brilliant way to do it. I don't like the power connector on this. This uses the standard Dell power connector they've been using for like 15 years or more. This one is pretty much all metal, does not have bumper, but it does use the new USB-C power charger. Brightness. Well, you can kind of see them all together here. And let me adjust the brightness on all these so they're full up. But it looks to be extremely good. And there it is, brightness. And brightness. I would say they're reasonably comparable. Most people don't run into full brightness anymore anyway, just because of battery life. Battery life I have not been able to test, but I will put the specs as to what it says up on screen. All in all, it's actually a really, really similar unit, however, to the Acer R11. They're physically, I don't know if you can actually see it specifically here, but they are physically really close in size. The R11 is a little thinner when it comes to the base, and the screens are just about exactly the same. Because really the comparison probably should be between these two, because this one really is a bigger one. It's a little different class of unit, whereas these actually use the same or very similar internal processing capacities. Now this one has a little bit more storage capacity. This one actually has, I believe, 32, whereas this is 16. Keyboard layout's almost exactly identical. In fact, I think it is identical. For that matter, it is identical. Touch responsive. This has a slightly bigger touchpad than this one. They're both responsive. The touch screens are both responsive, but they're based on the same kind of technology that you have in like an iPad or a modern iPhone or an Android phone. Now both of these are running not a full HD screen. They're really close. And I'll try and do this as best I can to give you an example. We'll do this one. Okay, this one is louder. They're both, I think, loud enough. This one seems to have a little bit clearer sound than this one. It's really, really on edge whether it's that much difference. And if you're using headphones, I doubt you'd hear the difference at all. Anyway, they're really, really close. So they both lay flat. So they can take multiple touches and everything else, just like any of your modern Chromebooks. So let's look at the Dell for a minute here specifically. Okay. So all in all, I actually like this. It's a pretty decent one. I think it definitely compares with the Acer R11, which is the ones that we're using currently. I love the rubber surround. I think that will actually that'll keep this thing from having a lot of problems. The sound is, like I said, just a little bit less, not a lot. It's not a noticeable amount less. And if you're a teacher trying to use 100 of these, or not 100, like 30 of these in a classroom, you probably want it a little bit less volumed anyway. Headphones would be a good thing. Anyway, so we don't know the longevity, of course, of these. These really just came out. I will, like I said, I'll go through the specs and see if I can notice anything else, and I'll put that in a slide after this if it's something I noticed really obvious. Anyway, hope this has been helpful to you, and hope that you enjoyed seeing this thing, the new toy that I get to play with. So have a great day. See you next time.